The benefits of standardised assessments are that they allow you to compare performance between pupils and across time very, very easily. So if a pupil is getting 100 on a standard score in maths at the age of 8, and they're getting that in maths at the age of 11, you can be sure that they've made good progress between then, that they're operating at around about the same level. So I think the comparability, I think they're the most precise and the most accurate of the kind of assessments that are out there. And I think as well as that, I think the granular level of detail you get from them. So what I mean by that is, if you look at the data you get from them, they're not all carved up into grades. And grades often mean that you lose information. So if you say that all pupils performing between this point and this point, we're going to call them a grade A, actually you're losing information there. So there'll be pupils who are still very different within that category who you're giving the same label. So what I like about standardised scores is you get a very fine level of detail, and you're not putting very different pupils into lumping them all into the same category.
I think standardised assessments are really useful for us because, with the best will in the world, there can be an inconsistency in terms of assessments that are set. There can be inconsistency in the way that they're marked. And what standardised assessments give us is they give us raw data that's reliable. It's based on a data set, a large data set, that enables us to look at that and say, well, this is where our children are at compared to national figures. It enables us to set targets. It enables us to look at the potential of these students and then to say, right, if this is your potential, this is where you should be at the end of year 7, end of year 8, end of GCSEs. And then we can then look to put intervention in for any students that aren't achieving those targets that have been set from the standardised data.
I think the use of standardised assessments are the perfect tool to bring some comparative or provide comparative data to ensure that schools can be held account, to know that actually what you are measuring, it's the same thing and it's objective. You're able to get that temperature check, that thermometer check, which gives you some comparability across the system, which, without the levels, has been removed. GL is an absolutely wonderful tool in terms of an assessment provider. Certainly, in one of the MATs that I worked for, it provided a complete suite in terms of assessment, we could call mechanisms, from progress tests to baselining, transition tests, looking at removing barriers to learning, identifying them, helping teachers really get to know the whole child. When you know the whole child and where your start point is and where the gaps are, that's when you can really develop that effective relationship between teaching and learning.